So let's start with the jurisdiction of the state. Now, in the case of the jurisdiction of the state, that you must remember is that we have a very simple sort of concept is that when we say jurisdiction of the state, what do you mean by that? So remember, any time a jurisdiction word comes into mind, then two things comes into mind. The first thing is the area. Okay, on this particular area I have authority of. Right? That is the meaning of the word jurisdiction. Second thing that comes to mind is basically subject matter. Like for example, with regard to Supreme Court, if you think about it, jurisdiction is mostly with regard to subject matter, because the concept of jurisdiction with regard to area does not apply, in the sense that entire India is their jurisdiction. But when we are talking about a high court, the concept of area comes into the picture. When we talk about district courts, again the concept of area comes into the picture. Why? Because there the jurisdiction vary according to that. Now the question is, what do you mean by jurisdiction? Once you have jurisdiction of a particular area or a particular subject matter, then what does it entail? क्या हो जाता है आपके पास jurisdiction? It means it actually defines an area in which you can exercise your power. It defines an area in which your power is applicable. You can enforce your orders. Right? Now think the same thing with regard to a country in international. There also the jurisdiction can be on the basis of area, and also the jurisdiction can be on the basis of here, not the subject matter in the sense of the Supreme Court, but subject matter in the sense of territory and its inhabitant. Right? So it means that the jurisdiction in international law can be either on the concept of area, because this is the landmass in which country A has a jurisdiction. Now suppose an inhabitant of that country A traveled to some other territory. Inhabitant of that country A traveled to some other territory, then it means he is also shifting the jurisdiction of his parent state to that territory. So in international law, jurisdiction is defined on territory and second on nationality or the citizens, the persons. याद रहेगा ये point. Clear है? Understood? Okay. Now here I have purposefully written territory as well as inherent individual, because sometime in international law the territory also floats. What is the example? A ship in high sea. That does not happen in your municipal jurisdiction. That mostly happens in international law. Right? So it means that subject matter can be territory as well as individual, and there can be other jurisdictions solely based on territory. Solely based on जो fixed territory. So there are two kind of jurisdiction, or two ways to determine jurisdiction in international law. The first is territory and second is the subject matter. In that subject matter further we have territory as well as nationality or citizens. ये बात समझ में आ रही है? Right now there are two very interesting theories that how to determine jurisdiction. One is that one of the basis is this, but in that also, what if something happens on your country but its effect is on some other country? Who will have the jurisdiction? Similarly, there might be citizen of Pakistan but they have exploded bomb in India, then should the Pakistan have the jurisdiction? Obviously the answer is no. Right? So that is where the cause and effect principle comes into the picture. In the case of territory, if the main function or the main activity has started or has been planned on your territory, you should have the jurisdiction. Or if their substantial effect is on someone else's territory, that should have the jurisdiction. Same thing happens in the case of nationality also. If your national has done something, you should have the jurisdiction. That is the cause. Or if there have been much more impact on your national. बॉम्ब पाकिस्तान से आके फोड़ा लेकिन मरे कौन? इंडियंस नेशनल, तो इंडिया के पास जुरिस्डिक्शन होना चाहिए. So it means in both the case of territory as well as in the case of nationality, there is active and passive principle. Active is the cause, passive is the effect. सब नारी बात ये क्लियर है. अब कौन सा जुरिस्डिक्शन फॉलो होगा किस केस में, ये इंटरनेशनल लॉ डज नॉट डिफाइन एट ऑल. इट मीन्स कि टोटली डिपेंड्स अपॉन रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन दोज टू कंट्रीज. जैसे नॉर्मली टेररिज्म वाले जितने भी कन्वेंशन हैं, that is convention related to bombing, hijacking, all those mostly they apply, go for a effect principle, meaning if my citizens have been hampered, I should have the jurisdiction, or if my territory have been damaged, I should have the jurisdiction. It does not matter which country's nationality has planned it, national has planned it, or in which country the physical planning actually took place. The effect principle is generally followed. ठीक है, जैसे इंडिया पाकिस्तान के केस में वो भी नहीं फॉलो होता, दोनों में यही झगड़ा चल रहा है किसका जुरिस्डिक्शन है. Why do you think this समझौता blast case has not been taken care of right now? Because the question is on jurisdiction कि who will have the jurisdiction. समझ में आ रही बात है. तो मोटे तौर पे दो तरीके से डिटरमाइन होता है, बेस्ड ऑन टेरिटरी, बेस्ड ऑन नेशनलिटी, एंड इन बोथ ऑफ देम सब डिवीजन क्या है, या तो हमारे टेरिटरी में हुआ या हमारे नेशनल ने किया तो मेरा होना चाहिए, या इफेक्ट हमारे ऊपर आया है. इफ द इफेक्ट हैज हैपेंड इन माय टेरिटरी और माय नेशनल पीपल हैव बीन इफेक्टेड, आई शुड हैव द जुरिस्डिक्शन. उसी को एक्टिव पैसिव पर्सनालिटी प्रिंसिपल, एक्टिव पैसिव टेरिटोरियल प्रिंसिपल कहते हैं. समझ में आगे बात ये क्लियर है. नाउ अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस देयर आर सर्टेन इन विच देयर इज समथिंग कॉल्ड यूनिवर्सल जुरिस्डिक्शन, मीनिंग every state will have jurisdiction with regard to that particular territory, and the best example is high sea. Second is moon, outer space. ठीक है, so all those areas, that is where no state have a jurisdiction but every state have concurrent jurisdiction. ठीक है, जैसे मैंने इस पर टेस्ट सीरीज में क्वेश्चन पूछा था कि what will happen if there are two conflicting sovereignties claiming jurisdiction in a particular area. Who will have the jurisdiction? कि piracy चल रही है. In the case of piracy, there is universal jurisdiction. Now there is a ship of India, there is a ship of Pakistan. Who will have the jurisdiction? No clarity, right? So there only two principle or sort of custom is followed. The first is those who is more suited to handle that crime, that country will have the jurisdiction. तो अगर इंडिया का बड़ा सा बोट है और पाकिस्तान का छोटा है तो यूजुअली किसको मिलना चाहिए? इंडिया को. ठीक है. और सेकेंड इज दैट हु हैव रीच्ड देयर फर्स्ट. ठीक है, जो पहले पहुंचे उसकी जुरिस्डिक्शन होगी. याद रहेगा क्या? लेकिन ध्यान रखना है कि देयर इज नो क्लियर गाइडलाइन एज टू which jurisdiction the international law it should be followed. It actually totally depends upon the relationship between those two countries. जैसे India, US and Canada are such a close friends that they don't even bother about jurisdiction. You commit crime here or there, either the effect is on this or in that, they basically say कि okay, anyone can have jurisdiction because they have a treaty in that regard, because they trust each other's legal सिस्टम. अगर कनाडा में भी कोई क्राइम हुआ है और यूएस वाला पकड़ा जाए तो कनाडा वाले जानबूझ के कहते हैं ठीक है यूएस में ले जाओ, वहीं पे इसको प्रोसिक्यूट कर लो. व्हाई? बिकॉज दे नो कि देयर आल्सो जस्टिस शुड बी डन एंड जस्टिस सिस्टम इज कॉस्टली, सो कनाडा इज ट्राइंग टू सेव देयर कॉस्ट्स. अगर यूएस में होता है तो यूएस कहते नहीं कनाडा गो एंड प्रोसिक्यूट देम, दैट्स ऑल राइट. ठीक है, सो इट टोटली डिपेंड्स अपॉन रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन दोज टू कंट्रीज. इंडिया में तो ऐसा सिनेरियो कभी नहीं सोच सकते. Even if there is a Kukhar, Atangwadi, right, the Pakistan will never allow us to prosecute them. Even though the guy has done the same damage in their own country, but still they will not allow to prosecute. Okay, so that is why the international law, it totally depends upon the relationship between two countries. Basis दो है, either territory or nationality. समझ में आ रही बात है? खत्म हो गए.